Well, on today's episode, we're going to review AEW Rampage, NXT Level Up, and of course, Day 6 of All Japan Pro Wrestling Champion Carnival, and a couple of news updates regarding NXT, some events with matches that I definitely think you got to pay attention, and a very interesting debut for a Tokyo Yoshi Pro wrestler making her appearance at an indie wrestling show down in the East Coast. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Leader Wrestler Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Leader Wrestler Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with AEW Rampage. It opened up with a qualifying match for the Owen Hart Foundation Tournament. We have Swerve Strickland taking on Darby Allin. Now, keep in mind, this is a match between these two who know each other. They're both from the same general location, the Pacific Northwest. And I think that kind of goes out in a good way. I mean, these guys know their ins and outs. They know exactly what they're thinking. But however, it appears someone is trying to screw Swerve, and that is none other than Ricky Starks, who was supposed to be on commentary. Luckily, Sting was there to try to stop him. But things did not go exactly as Swerve's plan. Basically, he got distracted. Despite the fact that Sting was trying to keep him away, it kind of felt disappointing. However, Darby Allin won the match by the Last Supper or whatever the submission move it was, that move he does. But during the interview with Tony Schiavone, Darby felt guilty that this is not the match that he wanted. But however, Swerve's like, forget it. You know, right now I'm not thinking about it. He knows right now that this is not this that he got screwed, but not by Darby, by Ricky Stark. So he's saying that he has some unfinished business with him. But he did tell Darby Allin to win this for the North, from the people in the North Pacific, and I think that it shows he respects him, knowing the fact that he realized it's not no one's fault, not even Darby, for what just transpired. So I think that shows a lot of character with Strickland. Now, Sean Spears once again left another clue about who, you know, the mystery opponent. I mean, right now it's already people saying who it is. Why do we need another second clue? We all believe it's Big Cass, or as we know him in Impact, W. Morrissey. So that's something we could definitely pay attention. But we'll find out what happens on this coming Dynamite episode. Now, Chris Jericho, as you know, he gave himself Best Performer of the Year, Entertainer of the Week, after what he did to Eddie Kingston this past Wednesday. However, he got his butt kicked by Santana after what they did to Eddie. However, it did announce that Santana and Jericho will face off this coming Wednesday. Now, our next match is a debut of the Baddies as a trios. Jade Cargill, Kiera Hogan, and Velvet Sky to take on Sky Blue, Willow Nightingale, and, you know, and what's her name? And Trish Adora. Now, this is more of an interesting group. They try to prove they are the badasses. They are the top of what they are. However, this is more like, okay, we're not friends, but we're just badasses. So, right now, this is becoming a very interesting faction that people are trying to get into, but we'll see what it goes down. But it was Jade Cargill who picked up the victory 1, 2, 3, and it was right over from there. Now, we get an interesting match by none other than Limitless against Colton Gunn. Man, Colton thought he was smart. And not to mention Keith being a powerhouse that he is, that is something you don't expect. But of course, wherever Colton goes, his brother Austin goes, aka the Ass Boys, are there too. But fortunately, it did not go well for Colton after he got pinned 1, 2, 3, and it was all limitless right there. But however, Colton doesn't consider this as a big loss, but he does. But however, they were interrupted by the Acclaim. It seems like the Acclaim wants to build a long-term friendship or partnership with the Gun Club, but that is something I don't know how they're gonna take. What's gonna go, but we'll find out. Now, as you know, we got a qualifying match coming up on Dynamite. Jeff Hardy will go off against Bobby Fish. Now, Jeff Hardy did say that that he's going to be the one to go into the um, Owen Hart Cup, Owen Hart Tournament to win it, and all this and that. However, Bobby Fish claims that his time was up. That it's time for everyone. As you know, Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, they're currently in the tournament, but they believe that maybe one of them could get out. Now, recently we saw Danhausen coming out. Hook comes out, he wants to start a fight with him. But all of a sudden, as you know, Smart Mark Sterling feels that the intention was turned away, all thanks to Hook. Now, Hook has been getting most of the attention from the fan base, the critics, all of that. And they felt that enough is enough, so Tony Nese blindsided. However, Hook took care of Nese. Nese tried to finish it off, but Sterling told, told him to back off. However, Danhausen tried to make peace with Hook, but Hook is not looking for that at all. Basically, the feud between Hook and Nese could boil over. Now, our main event is the Ring of Honor World Television Champion. This is going to be against someone who's been familiarized in the Ring of Honor. We're talking about Trent Beretta. I have to say, Trent got murderized by Samoa Joe. As you know, this is the battle of speed versus strength and power and agility from a guy like Samoa Joe. But you know how this ends with Joe when the people go, Joe is gonna kill you. That kind of goes on in that way. But it was Joe who finished him off with the Coquita clutch, and it's already done from there. And of course, as soon as it was over, once wherever Joe's out, you know who comes out. Lethal, Singh, and Dutt. However, Orange Cassidy and the rest of the best friends tried to stop him, but nope. So this feud between Joe and Lethal is boiling over. It's only a matter of time until we see a match between them. We don't know for sure if it will be at an AEW ring or a ROH ring, but we'll find out when that day comes. Now I think we're done from there. Let's move on with NXT Level Up. Okay, NXT Level Up. Let's see out of who comes out of NXT Leveling Up. The first match we have is, of course, Dante Chen taking on Damon Camp. Now, Dante Chen, who's not been on a good roll with injuries, dealing with personal things, he feels like, okay, no more excuses. It's time to level up. So I think it showed a lot of character. But however, Devin Kemp, who has been making a little bit of the buzz, as you know, he is going to be making appearances in NXT UK, is going to be a challenge right there, a good thing for him. But however, the match shows, okay, Damon Kemp, he is hungry to go to where he needs to go. And I think Chen, I mean, he has a good heart and all, but however, the ability of Damon Kemp as an amateur background kind of fits into the profile that shows he wants this more. And it was Damon Kemp who won the match by a suplex or something, or a power slam or whatever it was that gave him the edge. Next up, we got Amara Miller, who we haven't seen for quite some time. And now we get the debut of someone I mentioned before, Arianna Grace, or as we know her as the daughter of Santino Morelli. I have to say, it was a very interesting match. Now, many people could assume Ariana's going to lose this match. It's always like that every single time. But however, I was considering, what if this goes out because of her royalty, because of who she is, being the daughter of Santino Morella, even despite they're not going to acknowledge it, regardless. I mean, I feel they should, because it is her legacy. But I have to say, Ariana did pretty good. I'm not saying best or that good, but she did good. She did pick up a surprising pin to Amari Miller. Now, many people say Amari Miller has a bit more experience than Arianna Grace has. I will say yes, but whatever the reason happened, it happened. Now, our next match, we have Andre Chase with Bodie Hayward to take on Quincy Elliott. Now, Quincy, he's this guy who I've seen so far. He made his appearance, but this became a teachable moment for Quincy. Despite the fact, it's David versus Goliath, but it was the brains that allowed him to win the match against Quincy. And I thought Andre Chase was pretty good. People are getting behind him, and he picked up a very good pinfall by to Quincy Elliott to pick up the win. So, good job, Andre. So, I think that's pretty much it. What we got for next NXT Level Up. Let's move on with All Japan. Okay, our last review is All Japan Pro Wrestling, day 7th of the Champion Carnival. This took place on the 23rd. It opened up with tag team action. We got Ryu Inoue teaming up with Atsuki Aoyagi to take on Total Eclipse, Hokuto Omori, and Tajiri. Now, in this type of thing, I always say, whenever we have guys like Inoue, who's the young boy in the group, he's most likely the factor where he loses the match because he is still on the learning curve. Unfortunately, that's what happened because Omori picked up the victory by pinning him, and it was over right from there. Next up, we got a 8-man tag match. We got Blackman Sori, Izanagi, Shugi Ishikawa, and Takoa Amori that take on Shotaro Oshino and the members of Evolution, Dan Tamura, Hikaru Sato, and Suwama. Now, in my presumption, viewing this match, I would have presumed that Oshino and Evolution would have won, but no, I did not anticipate for them to lose because Evolution has shown how strong they are. But, however, it was Blackman Suri who picked up the victory when he pinned Dan Tamura, which was a big upset. However, looks like he wants to enter a feud with the members of Evolution. But, like the old saying goes, be careful what you wish for. Now, our next match is the Block B of the Champion Carnival. We got Kuma Arashi versus Yuma Aoyagi. Now, this match is an example of David versus Goliath. Kuma, he is a big dude. He could easily squash Aoyagi, but somehow Aoyagi win by applying the crucifix 1, 2, 3. He won the match. I was like, whoa, that's impressive. Now I know Kuma is possibly not happy. Probably he asks himself, how could he lose to a guy like him? Well, he did. But I have to say, it was beautiful. I enjoyed it. Now, our next two matches are part of the Block A. First one is bit of a showdown between members of Total Eclipse. We got Rocky Honda versus Jake Lee. Now, you know Jake Lee. He will do whatever it takes to win. But what about Honda? Well, that's the easiest question. Honda is new. He was a young boy, transitioned to become a member of Total Eclipse. But however, Jake Lee, he is not going to stand out. He wants to win this to regain the title that he lost. And I think that shows that he is determined to do so, even if he has to win the entire tournament to do so. But however, that's exactly what he did. He put Honda in a submission, forced him to tap out. So we'll see how that goes between those two. Now, our next match, we have another bit of a showdown. We have T Hawk versus Shigeru Iri. Now, in other locations, they have been on the same page. They're part of Strong Arts, but when it comes to Shigehiro, he's a member of Purple Haze, but not a whole lot has been seen about Purple Haze, but I'm kind of curious about that. But in this particular match, it was so good. It was amazing, pound for pound, but ended in a time limit draw. So it was like, oh man, that sucks. I was a bit of surprise on that. Now, our main event is the Block B of the Carnival Champion. We got Kento Kiyomiya taking on Yoshitatsu. Now, these two guys have known each other for years. Who is the top wrestler? And I think that's what shows us. But it was Kento who's trying to prove this is his tournament, that he's willing to do whatever it takes to win. And that's exactly what he did. He won the match by pinfall, and it was over right from there when he pulled off the German suplex, and it was done right there. So, but I haven't picked up the point system how it's going to be. But however, I will do one more of this, and then hopefully we catch up with All Japan. But at the moment, let's do some news updates. Okay, so here are some news updates for everyone. There's been reports coming from NXT, as you know, that they're heading back to Full Sail. Now, this is something I did not expect. As you know, it's been a while, maybe a year since we saw them in Full Sail. Now, the reason they haven't been there was because things have changed since the coronavirus. They moved their shows straight to the PC Center, and then the Performance Center, and now then this the Capitol Center Arena. I think that's what they call it. Um, but it was just like that. Now the reason is we don't know if they're going to revive the old brand of NXT. The reasons why, but Full Sail has always been something near and dear for everyone who's been there. But we'll see where they're gonna go. Now we have some interesting matches that have been announced. First one is by Prestige. It's going to take place on the 28th of May. I think it was part of the Roselands show. We're going to have Mia Yim taking on Maki Ito. That's right, Maki Ito this is one of two shows that Maki Ito will make her appearance in the US. I'm very excited for that. And for Mia Yim, well, hope she's ready for this one. Now our next match, this is coming from Deadlock Pro, and their show is going to be taking place on the 15th of May. However, this is part of the Konosuke Takeshita U.S. tour. As you know, he left DDT to do an expedition. AEW is not just amongst them. He just already been announced for several shows. Now, this is one it's been announced that he's going to be facing Adam Brooks. So basically, he's on a roll. Now, final match, we have Brian Cage versus Casey Navarro on the on the 18th of June for Warrior Wrestling 23. As you know, this took place after the event on 22, where Casey Navarro and Brian Cage lost big time, and of course, Casey Navarro tried to cash in his opportunity for a world title match, but Cage stopped him. So now he has to compel with him. But this is going to be good. Now, speaking of expeditions with wrestlers coming from Japan, Miyu Yamashita is going to make her appearance at a New Jersey promotion called Garden State Pro Wrestling on the 23rd of July. I'm kind of curious about this. I don't know much about this promotion, but I definitely want to know more about them. So I'm going to find out more about this promotion and get back to you guys. So I believe that's pretty much it. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we got more on Choco Pro 223. And of course, we got day 7 of the All Japan Champion Carnival event. I'm trying to catch up with every of the. There's still those I haven't catched up yet from early of April. Hopefully, by the time I'm done with everything else, I'll get to those. But right now, I'm going to focus on these two, and then we'll go from there. So I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.